Welcome inside episode 469 of the Locked On Senators podcast. I'm Ross Levitan on the outskirts of enemy territory in Winnipeg, Manitoba, alongside Brandon Pillar up in the Blue Mountains. And yeah, tonight's game was postponed too, but at least, Pillsy, we know when it'll be made up.
I feel like this is just the intro of our show every time now, Ross. The game that was supposed to happen tonight is postponed. But yes, like you said, silver lining, it is going to happen later on this week, and that's great. And Ross, we have a recurring guest on this show that's going to make this show more positive than our past ones, that's for sure.
Absolutely. Talk about a tough start to the season, not only for the Sens on the ice, but Angus Crookshank, after all the momentum built last year, turning pro, finishing strong in college first and foremost, and then tragedy at the start of this season. His second rookie tournament game, torn ACL. He's back on the show to provide an update of where he's at in his recovery process and a whole lot more. We also get in with Angus to the Belleville Senators, who were on the ice last weekend. He had boots on the ground, so we'll touch on that with him as well. This is the Locked On Senators podcast, your team every day.
Locked On Senators, your daily podcast on the Ottawa Senators. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Today is Monday, January 10th, and Pillsy, despite the Senators' next scheduled game, not until Thursday, I'm fired up for this week. We got Angus Crookshank today and another young buck, Carson Latimer, later on. Two absolute beauties.
Yeah, we had a great day with interviews yesterday, Ross, talking to Angus, again, getting an update on his injury, which you guys will hear. And I think you guys will be interested in how hungry he is to get back. He's eyeing a return closer than anticipated. So we'll see how that goes. We're rooting for Angus, that's for sure. And yeah, new Sens prospect, Carson Latimer. We get to chat with him. He's full of energy. You can tell this kid's just ready to go. He just loves hockey, and he's just ready to absolutely continue tearing it up for the Prince Albert Raiders.
He's not shy, eh?
No, definitely not shy. We had a lot of fun talking with him on air and off air. We had some good chats too. So definitely a good kid.
Absolutely. Stay tuned for that on Wednesday. We've got a Sens Central Citizen coming tomorrow. So lots of great content to lead you up until the Senators face off against the Calgary Flames on Thursday. And we mentioned Edmonton now next Saturday, after Pillsy and I will be at the Ralph in North Dakota. So we're obviously going to take care of you when it comes to your Jake Sanderson, your Tyler Clevin content coming up last weekend. They also got into their return following the World Juniors. They played Friday and Saturday. So we've got kind of a prospect roundup later on in the show. But the Senators did arrive in Alberta yesterday. They were on the ice for practice. And Pillsy, by all accounts, this is about as normal of a lineup as you're going to see from the Senators.
Which is refreshing, Ross. We've had a couple episodes where it's more a comedy show than a hockey analysis, because we're just like, this is just absolutely ridiculous. But now we got some decent lines here, and it's starting to look back to normal, which is great, especially for a guy like Timmy. I think that's a big deal, because he was given a tough task, if you can remember, the last time the Sens played as the first line center up against the Leafs. So this gives him a little bit more proper spot for him to be in.
Yeah, everything else looks as it did in the last meeting, except one, Pillsy, except one. And that is JBD moving back up beside Thomas Chabot.
Nice.
He's back on the taxi squad. So great to see. I think that the organization certainly sees these two long-term as a partnership.
Yeah, and I think it makes a lot of sense, right? Like, JBD is going to provide a lot of those things that Thomas Chabot needs in a partner. And I mean, anytime you're with Thomas Chabot, you're going to, despite what Kevin Bieksa says, you're going to learn a lot of good things about how to be an NHL defenseman. And he's a great example for a young kid to be playing beside.
So the D-Corps shaken up a little bit at practice. Forward line stay the same. Norris, Tkachuk, Batherson, Stützle, Formanton, Connor Brown, Gambrell, Sanford, and Watson. And the fourth line of Tierney, Paul, and Ennis. But on the back end, it's a three pair shuffle here with Chabot, JBD. Then you've got Holden with Zub. We know that's worked in the past. And Branny, right after we ask if he could maybe play the right side, he's back on the left alongside Josh Brown. Not necessarily the best position to succeed if you're putting Brandy in the right spots.
Ross, I kind of see this as the writing on the wall here, right? Like, there's how much time does Nikita Zaitsev have till he's back? Not that long now with postponed games. So they're blatantly not giving Brannstrom an opportunity, and they're blatantly like they couldn't really put him in a worse spot, could they? Bottom pair with Josh Brown, and I'm not trying to harp on Josh Brown, but we talked about it. If they put him with Artem Zub, that would be the test. Like, okay, what do you really have with Brannstrom? Because every single other defenseman we've put with Zub has succeeded. So why are they giving Holden those minutes? Now, I know that Holden and Zub have been a decent pair, so there's not a problem there. But when you're looking at the window for Eric Brannstrom to really show what he's got, putting him on the bottom pair with Josh Brown is not his best opportunity here.
Now, some might say we're overreacting to practice lines, but Pillsy, that's all we have.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, what do you want us to go off? Yeah, so, and the thing is, like, why not get him at least more practice reps with a guy like Zub or something? So clearly, this is where they're going to have Brannstrom going for the next game, at least as far as I can see. And I don't really love that move, to be honest, but we'll see how it turns out. Because Josh Brown also, that's not really great for him either. He hasn't played in a long time, so he's in a tough spot too, playing with a guy in Brannstrom who hasn't played in a long time. Like, I don't know. It just seems like they couldn't care less about what happens to those two, and that's not good for Eric Brannstrom.
No, it is not. But what would be refreshing would be if we knew that these lines would happen in a pregame skate, which we're hopeful will be on Thursday. We're also hopeful that Angus Crookshank will make his return sooner rather than later. So without further ado, let's get an update from him. And before we get there, let's power up with a Built Bar. Angus was telling him he's been crunching Built Bars ever since his injury, and it's really helped him get on the right track because it's the perfect mix of everything you need in terms of low calories, low sugar, but high in protein and high in fiber. Built Bars are great for the health conscious guy or girl because you can lose or maintain weight while indulging in what is a delicious treat. The bars are 100% covered in chocolate. They're soft and easy to chew. And as Built Bar tells you, it's the protein bar that tastes like a candy bar. So head to BuiltBar.com right now or Built.com. Take you right to the same spot and use our promo code LOCKED15. That's promo code LOCKED15 gets you 15% off your next order. It's Built Bar, the protein bar that tastes like a candy bar. Go there right now. Promo code 15% off is LOCKED15. LOCKED15 for 15% off your next order at Built Bar. All right, here he is. Belleville Senators forward. It's Angus Crookshank. All right, we now welcome a very special guest back to Locked On Senators. It's Belleville Senators forward Angus Crookshank, recovering from a very unfortunate injury, but we're happy to have him back on the show. Angus, what's going on today, man?
Not a whole lot. Bit of an off day for us injured guys here in Ottawa, so just taking the day, a little R&R.
I want to get into the injury itself, the initial recovery, but where have you been the last 5 months? Have you been in Ottawa, in Belleville, back and forth?
Yeah, I've been living with Jerry Townend, the head trainer of the team. He's been kind enough to open his doors to me to stay there in Ottawa. I guess it wasn't really my decision. It was more kind of what management thought was best for me. And I mean, I agree. I mean, I wouldn't want to be anywhere else. Wouldn't want to be back home. I'd rather be in Ottawa with the doctors and the trainers. I mean, they do a heck of a job. So I wouldn't want anyone else taking care of my knee.
Yeah, I mean, especially in these times, to be right where your doctor is and where the attention you need, that's perfect. It makes your day a little easier. So what kind of things are you doing day to day in your rehab process right now, Angus?
Yeah, you know what? I'll just give you a day-to-day breakdown. It's all pretty much the same thing each day. But I'll wake up, I'll go to the rink, I'll do a little bit of treatment, kind of half hour or so. I'll go work out hour and a half, 2 hours. I'm progressing pretty good there. And then I'll get more treatment afterwards, and then I'll go in the tubs and ice and that sort of stuff. But they've also had me in this kind of crazy like underwater treadmill thing, which is, I guess it allows you to kind of like be able to run and walk, but without the impact of running and walking. So kind of when I was around 1 month out, I started going in there, and it really kind of accelerated the whole rehab process. And it's been kind of good ever since, which has been nice.
So not that it's a good thing, but the fact that Colin White was hurt long-term right after, are you two kind of going through the same process together?
Oh, for sure. And I mean, honestly, like when I kind of knew I was going to be around the team, I mean, when the team's there, I'm there sort of thing. So I'm around the guys and that sort of stuff. And at first, like, I mean, let's be honest, it was pretty quiet. I kind of walked on pins and needles, not really, I didn't want to rub anyone the wrong way by saying something or stuff like that. But I got to know Whitey pretty well, and I was able to kind of start to shoot it a little bit with Whitey and kind of come out of my shell a bit. And Whitey's an unbelievable guy. So heck of a character in of itself. But yeah, no, we've kind of gone through the similar sort of thing. He's a little more ahead than where I'm at. He's able to start skating, but I think we should be returning in and around the same time.
A couple Hockey East guys then, eh?
No, I know. He's a Silver Spoon BC guy though.
Kid doesn't grind it out at New Hampshire like the best of them do, eh? I loved our conversation we had last time with you when you talked about the aura of could Tim Stützle join you guys at New Hampshire? Remember he had talked about that. And so what's it been like getting to know him a little bit now?
He's a really good dude. I mean, we've kind of talked a bit about if he came to UNH, he was like, dude, like, come on, you should have came. Like, you would have won the Hobie. We would have won more games. Probably would have gone to the tournament. That sort of.
You could have played on his line.
Yeah, I could have played. I didn't say that because I didn't want to go that far. But no, he just said it was such a hard decision. I mean, also in his case, like, you're going to be a lottery pick in the NHL draft. Like, you might as well start playing pro and getting used to playing against full-grown men. So, I mean, realistically, if I was in his position, I would have done the same thing. But pretty cool just to kind of think about it. We still, honestly, like my classmates at school, they still talk about it, like, oh man, imagine if we had Stützle.
Unreal. What's impressed you most about his game, watching him on the ice?
How effortless his skill is.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Like, there's some guys where it's like it's skill that is developed over time. Like, you can just kind of tell, like, a guy's, say, worked on his shot or worked on his skating or stick handling or whatever it may be. But with him, it's so natural. Like, it's God gifted. Let's be completely real here. Like, it's something that he was born with. And I mean, kudos to him. He ran with it and he works at it. And I mean, not a lot of guys work at it when they're God gifted. So.
Yeah, we've definitely enjoyed watching Timmy play, and you can tell the passion's there when he's frustrated, and when he's pretty stoked, you can also tell that as well. Now, Angus, I want to get right to it. We're all hoping that you come back soon, and we want to see you play with the Belleville Senators, especially after the way your season was last year. What's your expectations here? Like, are you thinking that there's a possibility you can get back on the ice this season, or what are the deadlines looking like so far?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I have my own personal kind of goals and what I want to do this year. Obviously, at the start, my goals at the start of the year are a little different than what they are now. But just kind of talking to the trainers, it's more kind of on a day-to-day basis in their mind. But I mean, personally, in my mind, my goal is to be able to play this year. And I think that's completely attainable. And I think with my work ethic and my determination to want to get things done and want to play, I think that's a pretty attainable goal, to be honest with you.
So you're going on just about 4 months now since the injury occurred. It was September 21st, the second rookie tournament game. So just before regular camp started. It was early in the game, if I'm not mistaken, as well. Take us through what your memory is of the lead up and then right after the hit.
Yeah, we were late in a shift. We had been in our D zone for a little bit, and the puck kind of squirted loose, and I wanted to kind of skate it out a bit, allow the boys to change, and then chip it in, but kind of stay on the forecheck so the boys had enough time to change and kind of get into our system. When I chipped the puck past the guy, I kind of tried to slide past him so I could be first one on it and kind of slid alongside the boards. I got pretty much 3/4 of my body through, except when he tried to hit me when I slid along the boards. So my body was past him, but my back leg was still there. And then when he hit me, he obviously missed my body. So then he was off balance and fell. And he just fell on my back leg.
And you knew right away?
Yeah, it was kind of a pretty gross pop.
Oh, Man, yeah, that's tough. Had you had any sort of like injury like that before, or right away you're just like, wow, this is something I've never experienced?
Something I've never experienced before. I mean, I've done like done the shoulders before, but I mean shoulders that's month, but like nothing to this extent. So it's been a challenge for sure. I mean, there's been ups and downs. The biggest thing that I'm trying to stay ahead of is kind of the mental side of things. Like, I mean, you kind of read up. I mean, I've read a bunch of stuff on it in like the Players Tribune of guys that have gone through tough injuries and that sort of stuff. And the biggest thing that they've all said is, I mean, you're going to have your low moments. Like you're wondering like, oh crap, like our guys passing me in the organization. Like I really want to be playing. Like, I wonder what the coaching staff thinks of me now. All that, like all those thoughts run through your head. Like I'd call anyone a liar who said they wouldn't have those thoughts going through. So just a matter of kind of being confident within myself. And honestly, like I can't really control what people think of me now. I can't really control what I can do on the ice because I obviously can't be on the ice. So it's just a matter of moving the needle in the right direction each day, as cliche as that sounds, but and kind of stay as focused, getting that 1% better each day.
Well, let's remind people then, 6-game point streak to start your AHL career. When you turn pro after 3 years at the University of New Hampshire, you finish off with 16 points in 19 games. And you had the Shane Pinto effect, what we call, if you look at the Sens record when Pinto's in and out of the lineup, like you saw a bunch of wins there. You guys went on that heater to end the season with 8 wins in a row, 8 out of the last 9 games. So was that a big part of the disappointment, not being able to carry that momentum that you had generated?
Not even so much that. I mean, obviously it was, I think there was so much time off. Like there wasn't, it's tough to kind of carry the momentum, but I don't know. I thought I had a really good summer. I thought I came into camp great shape. I thought I was playing well in camp, all that sort of stuff. And I was excited to have the chance to go to main camp and hopefully play a few exhibition games and see what I can do. I knew realistically I was going to be in Belleville this year anyway. And I think that's probably the best thing for me in my development. But I mean, whether I was going to get called up or not, I have no idea. I don't even want to think about that right now. But yeah, I mean, it was obviously disappointing, but yeah, it would have been nice to carry that over. But I mean, it is what it is. I just got to kind of roll with the punches now. It's nothing I can really control.
Yeah, so you're obviously cheering the boys on from a distance and doing what you can, hoping that they can get some wins together and get into the playoffs. That gives you a better chance of coming back this season.
How about playing games?
Yeah, I mean, playing games is definitely a big thing that we all want to get going here. But if this team can make the playoffs, it's been years where they've had just things not work out for them and you get a chance. Have you been able to be around the guys and get kind of the sense of the mood and how things are going for the team this season?
Oh, for sure. The guys are positive. Like, I mean, at the end of the day, if you go and watch most of the games, the boys are battling hard. They're doing the right things. It's just a lot of times it's a matter of puck luck. And I think, I mean, obviously I'm a younger guy, but I mean, just viewing it from a different angle where I'm not playing or I'm not in the locker room. It's I think that's just part of maturing and all those their learning experiences, to be honest with you. And I think, I mean, you saw it. What game was it? I want to say it was Carolina, where the boys kind of saw it through. It was a kind of a grindy game, kind of an ugly game, but the boys saw it through. And I think a game like that kind of puts them. It gives them that confidence to know that, okay, we beat a very good team, a team that has a real chance of winning the Stanley Cup this year. And our backs were up against the wall. So we were able to kind of shut it down, see it out, and get out of there with 2 points. So I think
they had the Forsbergler in goal too.
Exactly. He was unbelievable that night.
Yeah, he's been on a bit of a heater too. Then they go down to Florida, put up an 8 spot on a team that only had 1 home loss all year. So no, you're right. These guys are battling, but hey, you're in a unique position up top. Like, what has the different view of the game? Have you been able to pick up on some tendencies up there?
Everything is so systematic. Everyone is always in the right spot. I thought it was like that in the AHL when I joined from college last year, but it's a whole other level. Like honestly, like there's guys that literally they know their spot every single shift. They go there, they stop there. It doesn't even matter if if there's a scoring chance, like they're in the right spot. Because at the end of the day, if you're in the right spot, the puck will end up getting there. But it's crazy how systematic really the league is, and how, I mean, honestly, all the teams really play pretty similar. There's not a whole lot of variance in the systems. Obviously, there could be a couple tweaks here and there, but everything is very controlled, but also as controlled as hockey can be, if that makes sense.
Hope you guys are enjoying our chat with Angus Crookshank. Great to have Crooker back on the show, but we got to interrupt this interview for a quick message from one of our favorite sponsors at betonline.ag, the official online sportsbook of the Locked On Podcast Network and the Locked On Senators podcast. You know, I've had my trouble with Pilsey's parlay of the day, but that doesn't mean you can't get off the sidelines and get into the action, because rumor has it the Senators will be back this week. That's a rumor going around. We'll see if it ends up happening, but this is your time to go to betonline.ag, make your free account today. And since you're a loyal listener of the Locked On Senators podcast, we're going to hook you guys up with a promo code. So type in promo code Locked On, and you're going to get yourself a 50% welcome bonus. So how that works is you put $100 in with your free new account, you're going to get $50 in free play money. Now you can use that to bet the over-unders. You can use that. Hey, NFL playoffs are coming up this week. Get ready for that. You can bet on all the playoff games, props, spreads, anything you want. BetOnline.ag has it. So go today. Make your free account at BetOnline.ag. Use our promo code LOCKEDON to get your 50% welcome bonus. It's BetOnline.ag, your online sportsbook experts. Now, back to our chat with Crooker. Speaking of Belleville and down in the AHL, have you been able to watch a lot of their games, and have you been able to kind of keep in touch with some of those guys as well?
Oh, for sure. I talked to Soko, I talked to Casty, Rhino, all those guys. I was actually down there the past 2 nights watching the games against Springfield. So
a wild one, their last game, eh?
Oh
that was one hell of a third period.
Barn burner.
Yeah.
Well, this one's coming out on Monday, so let's get the team recap going here then. So, let's hear get the view from Belleville from the weekend with our insider, Angus Crookshank.
Yeah, it was kind of the boys came out a little bit flat in the first, and I think if you asked any of them, they would agree with that. Manor kind of fired them up a little bit in that first intermission. The boys kept going. It was a close game going into the third. Boys were down 4-3, and then they got a 2-minute 5-on-3, and then there was another penalty that was assessed as well. So they had like 6 minutes or so where they were on the PP. So, and I mean, if you have guys like Soko, I mean, you saw Delzato had another snipe.
Safe to say he's not an AHL player, right? What's he got now? 6 points in like the last in this weekend.
Yeah, he's on fire.
Yeah, he had 6 points. He was back-to-back first star.
Ridiculous. Yeah.
But talk about a good guy. He's an unbelievable guy.
Uncle Deli, right?
Unbelievable guy.
What does a player like Deli do for the guys down there, especially a guy like you who came in as a rookie? And I think Belleville, especially with the way COVID and injuries have affected the entire franchise, there's been a lot of roster movement. So what happens when a guy like Deli comes down to the AHL and is able to light it up and really be a big part of that team?
For sure. I mean, obviously, one, it's kudos to him, because let's be honest, he's not an AHL defenseman.
Tough situation.
It's a tough situation. He's wanting to be in the NHL. He's an NHL caliber defenseman. And I mean, I have to give credit to him. He's been around playing pro for a while, but hasn't sulked, hasn't done anything. He's responded, and he's genuinely a good dude.
Most NHL games in the organization right now, career-wise.
Yeah. And he's the nicest guy. Like when I first got hurt and I was kind of down in the dumps, like he kind of went out his way to like get to know me and kind of know where I'm from and my background and that sort of stuff. And he's just a really easy guy to talk to, and a guy that you definitely want in your corner. But yeah, I think it's really good for the guys in Belleville. I mean, that's a guy that's won a cup with St. Louis. He's seen it all, really.
Well, you would have seen him with your hometown team for a little bit too, wasn't he with the Canucks for a bit?
Yeah, he was with the Canucks.
Yeah, he was with the Canucks for a little bit. He was a big signing. Everyone was pretty excited about that. But and I think it'll be awesome for the young guys to have a guy like that. Him, Logan Shaw, and Dragazino, those guys to kind of show the young guys the way and what it takes to kind of be a successful team in this league.
So it was on the road when Igor Sokolov made his NHL debut. So you weren't there for that one, but you did get to see him. How awesome and how well earned was that debut for him?
Oh, I was so happy for him, man. Oh my God. Like I texted him. He was like, dude, like I don't even know how to explain this. I'm so excited. So when he came back, I took him out to dinner. We went to dinner. So
wait, you took him out? This guy was making NHL salary for a couple weeks.
Well, okay, well, this was our deal. This is our deal. So when he plays his first NHL game, I'll take him to dinner, and then if I'm ever able to play mine, he'll take me to dinner. So,
nice.
But yeah, no, I was super happy for him, and even Tomer as well. Tomer was unbelievable. He's a whole other animal. I thought he was unbelievable last year. He's a whole other animal this year.
Well, yeah, you opened our eyes to him. You said that he's built like a Greek god off the ice. So we were thinking initially like, yeah, it's tough coming over, especially like he went back and forth, right? He played 1 year in Kelowna, then goes back to the large ice surface, plays against men over in Finland. But coming back to the small ice now, he's figured it out, eh? Oh, yeah,
he is a son of a blank to play against. He doesn't kind of get credit for it because he's not 6'3", 220 pounds. I mean, he's tall, he's built, but like not a monster by any means. Yeah, no, that's not a guy you really want to go against in the corner.
What did he do last night? 12 PIMs on Saturday?
Well, Roby got boarded pretty hard and shook him up. So Tomer
got to stick up for his fin.
The Eels connection there.
Yeah. So Tomer got 2 and a 10 for that.
Nice. But those are the ones that the team's going to kill off every time, right?
Oh, well, it was an offsetting.
Okay, so they got the call on the initial play. All right.
Yeah, they both guys got 2 and 10s.
But sounds like Jarventi owes Lassie a dinner now.
Yeah, I don't know what they eat in Finland or whatever the Finnish cuisine is, but Roby's better make something for him.
That's awesome, man. Well, we appreciate you taking some time with us. So your expectation is to get back on the ice in the next few weeks?
Yeah. February is the target, and then hopefully start playing kind of late March.
Man, we're cheering for you, dude.
We're rooting for you.
Yeah, obviously, friend of the show just from the last time you were on. You were outside. I felt like you were right on the Pacific Ocean when we were chatting with you. You could see the sun setting in the background. I was like, this guy is just as BC as it gets. You probably have your surfing wetsuit on at the same time. Hey, last time, Pillsy, weren't you about to go to Tofino? You were telling him all the spots to go.
Yeah, I did end up going. It was a wicked trip. I'm hoping to get back there as well. So definitely jealous of where you got to grow up. That's for sure.
Oh, it's unbelievable there, man. Did you go to the noodle place? See Monster Noodle?
No, I didn't get to the noodle place. I went to the taco place in Tofino. That was incredible. And
Taco Fino?
Yeah, so good. So definitely enjoyed that.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, you spend all your summers back at home, I assume, eh?
Yeah, well, so Tofino's obviously on the island, as you know, so it's probably like it's like a 5-hour day really to get over there, but
fair.
It's well worth it. I mean, it allows me to just fully relax. There's something so peaceful just laying in the water on your board.
Yeah, it is great.
Yeah, it's hard to describe.
Yeah, definitely something great. And all right, last question from me, Angus. Thanks again for joining us, and we're hoping you get back soon. Oh, Ross, what do you got?
Well, I was just gonna say this interview is brought to you by Tourism BC.
Yeah, no kidding, eh?
Yeah, where's my cut? I got to email Premier BC for my.
It's cut. In the mail. It's in the mail.
We'll figure it out. Yeah, exactly. This season for Belleville has just been so interesting, and a bunch of guys. So, who's one guy that's really popped off for you this season and has really impressed you?
I'm gonna go off the board and go Jake Lucchini.
Oh yeah, Lucchini, what a guy!
So I trained with Luch. So he lives in kind of 10 hours from Vancouver, but we one summer trained together. But we have the same program. So I mean, he didn't really want to commute to Vancouver for very long if he's to leave his home. But he and I have the same program. He's a heck of a dude, unreal guy. And I mean, it's been a perfect fit. I mean, I'm a little bitter. He took my number 9, but
no way.
Well, that's why he's so hot.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I talked to Matty Mitchell, who's the equipment guy. So even if I played this year, I would have had to give up the number 9 because just based off of seniority.
Damn.
But which is tough. But I mean, it wouldn't want to go on anyone else.
Get used to wearing something else though, because I don't think 9's coming available in Ottawa anytime soon.
Yeah, Eric, you know what? I think this will be a poll for you guys. Like, I need to find a new number.
All right.
I need a new number. Haven't really decided on one. Don't have an inkling either way. So
we need 4 options.
Give us 4 options and we'll let the
options.
fans decide.
Okay. 19.
Okay.
Classic.
22.
Okay.
Don't pull a Shane Pinto and say
11.
66. He got so much heat for that. Did you hear about that?
I'm sure.
He was on Wally.
No, I didn't.
They're like, hey, they were talking about JBD wearing number 48 and how tough that is. Because Meth used to wear 48 as his rookie number. And he's like,
Okay.
I'm between 12 and 66. And they just fed him. It's like, oh yeah, you're gonna take Mario's number. That didn't go so
You're
well.
gonna
With
Hey, that's
You're gonna take
confidence.
Lemieux's number.
Yeah.
So we
Yeah,
got
I respect the
19,
confidence,
22.
19, 22, 11.
Nice.
Not wearing 11 in Ottawa. I promise you that.
Yeah, that won't
okay,
happen.
I should probably change that.
Although, hey, Kruger, would he be okay with that?
Yeah,
Remember Abe?
Abe may have something to say about that from Russia.
No kidding.
But you know what? I'll leave the last number up to you guys.
All right, perfect.
Ooh, love it. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll throw that poll up then. So expect on Tuesday, I'll shoot you a note. We'll let you know what number you need when you come back. But the key is that we know you're coming back and it's going to be stronger than ever, man. You're putting in the work. We know you have the right mindset to it. And you got 2 guys here rooting for you as well. So, hey, all the best, Angus. We appreciate you taking some time with us. And we'll do this again right after you make your return. And we'll discuss what's going on then. All right?
Sounds good, boys. Thank you so much for having me, as always.
Stick taps to Angus for joining us. And he knows he's got a few cheerleaders in you and I, Pillsy, because this is such an unfortunate injury. He had such a good year last season and worked hard all off season to get even better. And then not even having a chance to make it to main camp, like to be mentally tough enough to know that his opportunity is still going to come. That takes a special talent, and that's a special kid right there.
Absolutely. And that's a kid that's confident too, you know, like he's saying, all right, doctors say I'm not going to be back till next season. I'm going to do everything in my power. I'm going to control my own destiny, and I'm going to do everything I can to get back this season. And hopefully the boys get an extended run here to make his timeline a little easier. Maybe you see a little playoffs. We'll see. But definitely we want to cheer for Angus Crookshank because he's a confident kid. He showed what he could do last year in Belleville. And I think Troy Mann is looking to get that guy back in his lineup as well.
Love the fact that he's living with Jerry Townend, the longtime athletic therapist for the Senators. Like he probably joined the organization, I'd say, at about the same time as Daniel Alfredson. Like he's been there for about 20 years. So that's
wild.
He's got some stories. So
we got to get him on the pod. Damn.
Yes, absolutely.
That's what we should ask Crooker. Bring him down.
No doubt. But hey, that's an awesome aside, and you know he's in good hands. So hey, all the best to him. And you heard us chat with him a little bit. He was in Belleville for the game on Friday and Saturday. I know you got your chance to watch those games as well. What was your overwhelming opinion outside of the fact that Michael Del Zotto is simply not an AHL defenseman?
Well, I don't know. I think he is an AHL defenseman. He's doing great down there, Ross. But definitely he would probably think otherwise. But this is what I was talking about. Del Zotto was looking confident down there, and the results are showing. And man, does Troy Mann need a veteran defenseman down there right now? So I think it's just what the doctor ordered as far as what Belleville needs. And they needed it big time because they were involved. You heard Kirker say it was a barn burner up against the Springfield Thunderbirds as the Senators storm back with 4 straight goals in the third period to take a 7-5 win. And the AHL can get wild, especially these days. And that was a much needed win for the Sens because they dropped the first one up against the Thunderbirds. And still, technically, if going by points percentage, which the AHL does, the Sens are in last place in their division. So they need to be scraping along every single win possible. And Ross, I was looking at their schedule for January. Maybe this will decide how their season goes because all of their January games from now on are divisional games
Whoa.
up against teams that are ahead of them and that really are attainable. Like Rochester and Utica, they're so far ahead, they're probably not going to catch them, but there's 2 spots at the 3rd and 4th for that division that they can grab. They need a big January to get those.
Hey, what I love to see in Belleville more than wins and losses is the right players producing. Igor Sokolov, 2 goals against Springfield on Saturday. He hadn't scored in about 10 games, although
he's been getting some apples though along the way.
He certainly had, including back-to-back games with an assist before the Friday game against Springfield. So 4 points in his last 4 games for Igor, 5 shots on goal, which I want to see more of. He had that in the middle of the season, a stretch where he had 4, 4, 7, 4, 4, 6. But then since it's been like more 2, 1, 2, no shots on Friday. So he more than made up for that on Saturday. So you love to see the Shark on the prowl in the water. And also, how about some stick taps and love for Roby Jarventi, who's had a tough go in terms of heading to Edmonton, sitting in a hotel room, finally getting to play a game, and then, actually, no, you got to go back and sit around again before getting a chance to play Pilsy. And he has been red hot with 2 goals and 6 points in his last 4 games, including his first career 3-point AHL game.
Yeah. Hey, Ross, we said we want Jarventi to head to the tournament and come back with confidence. Well, we didn't say we wanted him to play a full tournament or anything like that and head back. He went there, he's back, and he's confident. So you got to love that. And yeah, like you said, Sokolov and Jarventi lighting it up. That's exactly what you want to see. Although goalie-friendly show, Ross, when 2 goalies get in and neither of them really does that great, that's not what you want either. But they were still able to win the game, so that's all right.
Yeah, exactly. And that was the situation there. Was it on Friday? No, Saturday, the win that Sogi had to go in for Mando, early?
Yeah. Yeah, so, they each played about half game.
So for you, what did you see out of Mando that would have led you to believe that Troy, man, was that more like team's flat? Because the Crooker said they came out flat. Was that more like to get the team going, or were a couple of the goals questionable?
No, I think it was the team was flat, yeah. And Mando had, like, for him, he had quite a workload leading up to this. Like, he had been the main guy down there for a while with Matt Murray up and all the COVID protocol stuff. So I think maybe it was just like, okay, let's get Sogard in here and just give Mando a break.
And just to continue, like, we're talking about 2 goalies here. One's 22, one's 21 years old. And for players as well, I think that we said World Junior, so it's kind of implied. But Roby Jarventi's got 15 points in 25 games now after this little heater. He's 19 years old.
It's really not bad at all.
Pick. It's not bad at all. And especially, like, there's been lots of games where he's quiet. And that's kind of been the scouting report on him for a while, right? He'll have a couple of heaters where he's already had one of these earlier in the year. There was a stretch where he had 5 points in 5 games, and now he's got 6 points in his last 4. So that's 11 of the points in a very short period of time, and some other games where maybe he leaves a little bit to be desired. But hey, he's shooting the puck too. 12 shots on goal in his last 4 games as well. So I just want to circle back there and give proper stick taps because, hey, this is an important piece of the future. Those 2 wingers they got in the second round of that 2020 draft, that's going to go a long way to filling out this offensive roster in the NHL level.
Yeah, you hope so at least. And they're going to be a big part of Belleville for the next couple seasons too. So you love to see these guys lighting up early. And yeah, like you said, hopefully we see a little more consistency from Jarventi here.
And hopefully we see a little more victory from the Nodak Sens next weekend when we go down to the Ralph Pilsy, because this was the first time, I want to say in 5 or 6 years, that North Dakota was swept on home ice in a weekend series, losing back-to-back games to Cornell.
Yep.
To Cornell. It's not even a powerhouse school.
Yeah, that's a tough one for sure. And they got Omaha coming up when we see them, Ross. And
Johnny.
Yeah, Johnny Titanic. And our record when we go to games together is pretty good. So we're going to give the boys a Sens Central bump.
What is it? 4-0?
I don't think we've seen a loss.
No, we haven't, because we had the Rangers
3-0.
in 2017. We went to that game. Then we went to the home opener this year, and we went to the preseason opener where they won twice against Winnipeg because they did the charity shootout as well at the end. So we'll count that for 1. We'll be fair. So you and I 3-0 attending Senators games together. I know went to some World Cup of Hockey games, but no rooting interest for there. So with Sens 3-0, we're counting the Nodak Sens as just that. But I also want to touch and stick tap shout out to Laleem's Martian. He was clipping these games all weekend long.
Yeah, doing the Lord's work.
The K-Train might have had his best game as a college athlete.
Yeah, and I love Laleem's Martian did a really good job of finding those kind of those small plays that, sure, it doesn't lead to a goal or anything big, but it's just showing you Cleven's confidence. Like that play where it's kind of a nothing play, but Cleven is bringing the puck up the ice and he scans all his options. And I think last year's Cleven would have been like, okay, there's no options.
Chip and change.
Dump it in, right?
Yeah.
Dump it in. This time he says, nah, I'm going to carry this puck in myself. So it's nice to see those little things. And yeah, Laleem's Martian definitely got a good eye on that.
And no surprise, but another multi-point night for Jake Sanderson, who just continues to rack up the points, takes hits to make plays, and just is so poised. He is, Pillsy, the real deal.
Yeah, I would say. And offensive upside, yeah.
You think? Yeah, you think? He's just it's so smooth. It's very similar to watching Thomas Chabot. There's a lot of similarities in their game.
Yeah, very similar, especially like anytime you get a defenseman that's able to skate like either of these guys, like it just adds such an element to your game and it makes everything else easier. Forechecking, back checking, like defending your gap, closing in your gaps, all these things, breaking the puck out. Like when you're a good skater, everything else just falls into place. So to have a Thomas Chabot and a Jake Sanderson in one franchise is pretty incredible. And we're going to get to see some damn good defensemen in years to come.
Pillsy, he's got 22 points in 17 games as a defenseman. That's ridiculous.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah, it's not bad. Meanwhile, Tyler Cleven's at 6 points, but 4 of those goals, absolute bombs, 62 PIMs.
And how many soul-crushing hits there? Where's the stat for soul-crushing hits?
Yes, he's got certainly a few of those on his resume, not only this year, but in years past as well. So yeah, we're super fired up for this upcoming series against the University of Omaha. And I am going to be watching for our boy Johnny Tyconic, who's not having the best college career. I think that's probably fair to say. But when it comes to this season, he's only gotten to play in 8 games, still looking for his first point, which, I mean, that's take
tough,
it how you will. But he is coming back from a long-term injury as well. So hopefully that'll treat him well. I mean, he's still a second-round pick. If Ottawa does not sign him after this year, they lose his rights. So you better get out there and have a good second half if he wants to be a part of the organization going forward. But yeah, that's about all I have, Pillsy. Anything else you want to get into today?
No, I just hope you guys enjoyed our chat with Angus Crookshank. I mean, it was so refreshing to get to talk to a guy like Crooker again. So this was great to put out a Monday episode where it's not just doom and gloom and being like, well, no Sens hockey again. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that one.
And lastly, head on over to Twitter at Sens Central and have your vote on what Angus Crookshank's number should be going forward. We know he got stolen by Jake Lucchini, but we have some options up there at Sens Central on Twitter for that. But for today, we say goodbye. Again, we've got Sens Central Citizen tomorrow, Carson Latimer on Wednesday, and the Senators game day on Thursday. But for today, we say goodbye. Thanks so much for listening. For Brandon Pillar, I'm Ross Levitan. This has been the Locked On Senators podcast, your team every day.